it. Right. Morning, everyone. It is 11 o'clock. Welcome to Cabinet meeting. Remember, this is broadcast live, website and archive, so you can view it afterwards. Microphones on and microphones on. Speaking. Just a reminder, we're in pre-election period running up to the general election, and we'll take particular care in any debate this morning. On apologies for absence, I've received apologies from Louise, Mrs. Richardson. The others? Peter Bedford, yes, who's out. So on minutes, I move that the minutes of the meeting held on the 24th, they are taken as read. Signed. Second, Deborah?
I'll second that.
Agreed. 2. Urgent items? None. Declarations of interest, anybody? None. Annual Treasury Management Report on pages 9 to 30 sets out the action taken and performance achieved in respect of the Treasury management activities of the Council for 23-24. Declan's here, Director of Corporate Resources. He'll present, then I shall go to Lee as Cabinet Member of Responsibility. Declan.
Morning, Leader. This is the standard annual report required by the CIPFA Code of Practice, and the report was reviewed by Corporate Governance Committee at their meeting in May. The report summarises the investing and borrowing activity for the previous financial year. The headline of the report is a significant amount of interest income earned. I went back through the annual reports back to 2010, and last year was the only time that interest received has actually exceeded the interest paid on debt. At £21 million, interest income for the year has been a significant benefit when the cost and demand for services has increased drastically. Interest income is one of the few natural hedges against inflation that we hold, and without this income, a significant use of reserves would have been required. The benefit of maintaining a strong balance sheet becomes clear in the most difficult financial times. The only concern in the year was the downgrading of Close Brothers during a period of lending to them. Loans were already limited to a maximum duration of 6 months, and all monies were returned without any issues. During the year, we repaid £42.6 million worth of debt. This is the first time in many years that it's been beneficial to do this, and locks in £2 million of interest savings for the long term. No new borrowing was required during the year, although we are mindful that in the MTFS there is a requirement, but due to this maintained strong cash position, it's still expected that this can be managed through internal borrowing rather than taking on more expensive external debt. The investment returns for the year were pleasing. Due to our approach of lending for long durations, we can lag behind in a rising interest rate environment. This was not the case this year, and we compared well against our peers. If you do dig into the appendix, you'll see also that the outperformance was maintained when risk was taken into account. The recommendations are per the order paper.
Thank you, Declan. Lee?
Yeah, thank you, Leader. Treasury management is an integral part of Council's finances, and as Section 7 says, interest income of 21.3 million generated through our Treasury management activities and interest paid on external debts of 13.9 million. Just to reiterate the summary on 35 on page 15, Treasury management is an integral part of our finances. Performance in this area is very important. While individual years obviously matter, performance is best viewed on the medium to long-term basis. The action taken in respect of the debt portfolio in recent years has been extremely beneficial and has resulted in significant savings. Short-term gains might on occasions be sacrificed for longer-term certainty and stability. So once again, well done to Declan and the whole team for their detailed and proactive approach. Happy to propose the paper.
Are you seconding DT or Lee?
I'm very happy to second.
Well done, Declan. Good job. All in favour? Thank you. Thank you, Declan. Agenda item 5, outcome of the consultation on the future of the transition learning programme. This is on 31 to 64. Here's the findings of the consultation. Indrajit Nahal, Assistant Director of Adults and Communities, will present the report, and then Christine speaks to it. Indrajit, good morning.
Thank you, Leader. So, hi everyone. So this report provides an outcome of the consultation of the Transitions Learning Programme, or TLP, and ultimately recommends for Cabinet to approve the closure of the service at the end of the academic year, which is the 5th of July, due to the financial sustainability and gap in funding for the service. There's currently 2 learners on roll at the service, and colleagues in children's services are working with both the learners and the parents to ensure that their education is fulfilled for September, as part of the EHCP and the statutory duty of the council. The staffing group will be subject to an HR action plan, and we'll look to redeploy staff within the business as close as we can. So ultimately, the consultation was quite thorough. Tried to hit as many different platforms as we could. A lot of work with the parents and the staff group as well. Ultimately, we're recommending closure of the service.
Thank you, Indrajit. I'm going to go to Christine.
Thank you, Chair. The report was fully discussed and dissected at the scrutiny meeting, and they agreed that the programme could not continue with only 2 young people using it, and that the programme will close at the year end on the 5th of July. The committee also asked that they are kept fully informed as to how the 2 young people are managing, even though this will be the responsibility of the children's services, because they were concerned, and it was, as Injit said, it went in thoroughly. I agree with and support the recommendations.
Thank you. Are you seconding, Pam?
Yes, I am. It's sad when these things happen, particularly to this group of people, but I'm quite happy and to understand that it has been looked into extremely carefully. All options have been looked at, and that a decision has been made, which means that these 2 young people that are left will still get support that they need. So I'm happy to second the motion.
Thank you. Deborah?
Just a point about the building as well, that you haven't mentioned that, but the building's not really suitable and needs a lot of work, doesn't it, as well? So even if we would continue with the service, we'd still be looking to move those children or those young people elsewhere as well, because the building's just not suitable.
Yeah, Paul can pick it up, but the building does need investment. 100%, it definitely needs investment. It's not in a great state. There is some indicative costs, I think, in the report, but they're not firm. But yeah.
Thank you. It's hard to run a service with just 2 people, I'm afraid, Indrajit. So it's been moved by Christine, seconded by Pam. Can I have a show of hands in favour? Thank you. Six, Archives, Collections and Learning Centre. This is on pages 65 to 76. It presents proposals put forward for consideration by the Adults, Communities and Overviews Committee on the future development of the service. Indrajit is presenting this as well, I think, Indrajit. And then I'll be going to Christine again. Over to you, Indrajit.
Thank you, Lead. So this report gives an update from a scrutiny members' private workshop, which was held in May and subsequently presented to scrutiny early this month. The report has 3 specific recommendations from scrutiny, and I'll ask Fran to provide a brief overview of the report and recommendations. That's okay, Leader.
Thank you. The recommendations, as Indy says, has been informed by the Adults and Community Scrutiny Committee workshop, which was held on the 3rd of June. These looked at the issues arising relating to the Archives, Collections and Learning Centre in detail, and included the feedback received from the National Archives following the Record Office's accreditation assessment, which was carried out in February 24. The assessment identified a number of required actions for the Record Office to address within 2 years. Part B of the report provides a background to the ACL Centre, for which a REBA Stage 1 design and cost estimate has been produced. And given the financial situation facing the Council and partner authorities, officers have investigated an alternative solution to address the most urgent issues only. They're in paragraphs 33 to 40 of the report, to assess if this would have a lower financial requirement for the Council and partners. Whilst further work is required to provide more detail, there is a level of confidence that the capital and revenue cost of this alternative option over 25 years would exceed those of the ACL Centre. This information can be found in paragraph 36. The estimated ACL Centre costs and proportionate part allocations are in paragraph 56. The conclusions of the report are in paragraphs 45 to 48, but the summary is that it highlighted the increased risk of losing accreditation, ongoing risk to collections, records and staff, and the committee's view that the ACL Centre was the only viable long-term solution. So the recommendations from Scrutiny Committee were to ask Cabinet to note the outcome of the discussion at their workshop, reaffirm the development of the ACL Centre and consider allocating funding in the capital programme, which the Council will consider in February 2025. develop a more detailed appraisal to compare the new build costs against the costs of the current site over a 25-year period, and review and renew the partnership agreements to reflect the ongoing commitment to the Record Office partnership.
Thank you. Christine, it's one of yours.
Yes, thank you. The report was discussed fully at the scrutiny committee following the special workshop that we had, and I know the recommendations were endorsed by the committee. Fran has outlined the report of why we've had to go down this route, and a further report and recommendation will go before the full council in February. I agree with the recommendations and support it. I'm moving it.
Deborah?
I'm happy to second the motion. I think kind of stuck between a rock and a hard place, aren't we? We've got to do something, and the most obvious and cost-effective thing is to move it and have a new build. But we need to do that in partnership, don't we? Because not all the collection and museum stuff and the records are all ours. They're with the city and the Rutland as well. So we do need all work together to get a solution for this. So hopefully that partnership working going forward will produce us the funding to be able to move this and get our accreditation secured.
Indeed. Right, moved by Christine, seconded by Deborah. All in favour? Thank you. Thank you, Fran. Thank you, Indigit. 7, Leicestershire County Council Road Safety Strategy. This is on pages 77 to 170. It advises on the development of the road safety strategy, which now includes casualty reduction targets, and seeks approval of the strategy. Anchor Others, who's Director of Environment and Transport, will present. Now shall we go into Ozzy, who's lead member in charge of it. Over to you, Anne.
Thank you and good morning. While this is not a new strategy for the authority, while it is a new strategy for the authority, it doesn't actually represent a new approach for us. It's bringing together the many actions we already take to improve road safety as the County Council and also as a partner within the Leicestershire and Rutland Road Safety Partnership. We're very fortunate that in Leicestershire we have a really good track record on road safety. However, we fully appreciate that we need to keep investing in this area, and this strategy provides that transparent framework to allow us to do it. The strategy adopts the Safe Systems approach, paragraph 20 explains this, and also introduces new targets, as you've mentioned, Leader. I'll just highlight those targets for you. The medium term, we're looking for a 40% reduction in killed and seriously injured casualties by 2035. And the longer term, the approach is 0 deaths caused by road traffic collisions by 2050. That target is consistent with the approach taken by many other organisations and indeed the implementation of the Safe Systems approach. We have undertaken a targeted stakeholder consultation, and the strategy has also gone to the H&T and Scrutiny Committee in March. Their comments and the wider comments received to the consultation are set out in paragraphs 34 to 42. We're seeking approval of the strategy and also delegation from myself in consultation with the lead member to make minor modifications as necessary. Thank you, Chair.
Looks good to me. Very laudable aims. Ozzy.
Thank you, Chair. The Council has been successfully providing a wide range of road safety initiatives for decades, working closely with partners, as reported to the Highways and Transport Overview and Scrutiny Committee each year in the annual Casualty Reduction Report. A safe system approach to road safety is being widely used and promoted by government authorities and road safety organisations as best practice. The RSS will help meet future safety challenges relating to population growth, an ageing population, perception and accountability. Fear of collisions affecting mode choice and recognising that road safety is everybody's responsibility. And future funding and deterioration of assets. The RSS will help maximise future opportunities to improve road safety relating to the new and emerging technology, i.e. improved safety features within vehicles, new engineering techniques and materials, and data analysis and partnership working. The RSS contributes to the Council's strategic outcomes, including safe and well and others, by helping reduce carbon in improved health and for one example, helping to reduce collisions and fear of collisions. More people may choose to use active travel. As a retired police officer, road safety really is important to me and to the community that we serve, and I recommend this report.
Thank you, Ozzy. Blake, are you seconding it, Blake? Sorry.
Very happy to second, Chairman.
Christine, over to
Yeah, thank you. I'm glad you mentioned about active travel. I think we've got to make sure that when new developments are looked at and they're saying that there are sustainable travel being provided by bus, that we make sure that we've got some sort of guarantee that the bus that's there doesn't all of a sudden disappear a week after the new developments and that's been given. I think we've got to make sure that the bus companies do provide the necessary transport. And the other thing that I'd like to mention is that when all these new developments are going ahead, that zebra crossings are looked at so that people, the children, mostly children, using them to go to school, because sometimes these new developments are off of quite a main road, that zebra crossings are also provided at the cost of the developer.
anything to say, Ozzy?
Yeah, I totally agree with you, and it's something that's important. Certainly, the latter part of you said where zebra crossings are requested. I have a problem in my community where a lot of development has gone on and no zebra crossing has been provided. I think it's something that we need to look at for the future, because road safety and children and people's safety is of paramount importance to this council.
Yes, I did get on one development a zebra crossing to be provided, and then it didn't meet the criteria because nobody was walking over the same place on the road. But if the zebra crossing had been there, then the school children would have been using it, and it was going to be paid for by the developer. So I think we need to make sure that when we say about these zebra crossings that they meet the criteria, because I'd hate to think that we think we're getting one and then it gets removed from the application. Because as the director knows, I wasn't happy about the zebra crossing not being provided in the place in Shepshed.
Even I know that, Christine, and it is a problem. Okay, so moved by Ozzy, seconded by Blake. All in favour? Thank you, Anne. 8, Health Determinants Research Collaboration Progress Update. A mouthful. Tom's going to present it. You're Assistant Director or Assistant Chief Executive. Over to you, Tom.
Yes, thank you, Leader. The report provides an update on the Council's designation by the National Institute for Health and Care Research, or NIHR, as a health determinants research collaboration. The NIHR is one of the largest funders of health and care research in the UK and is placing increasing importance on research into the wider determinants of health, such as housing, transport and employment, and has recognised the key role of local government in influencing those factors. Working with partners, the Council bid into the second round of HDRC funding, and subject to navigating a stop-go transition point at the end of the first year, so that's later this year, the Council will be awarded £5.25 million over 6 years and joins a small group of 30 of these collaborations across England, Wales and Scotland. Paragraph 19 sets out the outcomes needed to receive the full funding, and good progress is being made with those. The funding takes the form of an infrastructure grant for establishing improved capacity and capability to undertake research in collaboration with local universities and other partners too. Funding will principally be used to recruit an HDRC research team embedded within the Business Intelligence Service at the Council. And as set out in paragraph 17, it will also fund academic mentorship and collaboration, support research skills development, fund community engagement and co-production activity, and ensure that research knowledge is embedded into policy and practice. These activities will bring many benefits, help build the Council's research and data capability, inform the Council's future priorities, and improve Council and partner services, especially those that impact on health outcomes. The recommendations are as on the order paper.
Thank you. It's one of yours, isn't it, Deborah?
Louise's.
Oh, Louise isn't here, so Deborah's going to field it, aren't you?
Yeah, I can. Very happy to move it. Really good that we're going to be a part of this research.
I've got you down as my Do you want to say something about it, Pam?
No, it's not a problem. I just wanted to congratulate the department. I think it's a real crowning moment for the council to be awarded this fund for this research. And research is one of the most important things we've got. We've got treatment for these diseases, but there's not a lot of research going into some of them. And MND is one, for example, that's been very much in the news following Rob Burrows having the disease and then dying. And it is research that is going to help us, perhaps not cure everything, but at least find out what's causing it, how it's caused, and do something about it, and make people's journey through these diseases a more comfortable one. So I'm more than happy to second it.
No, Leader. Thank you.
Moved by Deborah, seconded by Pam. All in favour? Thank you. Thank you, Tom. Well done. Items referred from over in scrutiny at 9, there aren't any. Urgent items, there aren't any. So we now move to the confidential section. To anybody who's leaving, thank you for attending. So I now move under section 100A of the Local Government Act 1972. The public be excluded for the following items of business on the grounds that it involves the likely disclosure of exempt information as defined in paragraphs 310 of Part 1 of Schedule 12A of the Act, and that in all circumstances of the case, the public interest in maintaining the exemption outweighs the public interest in disclosing the information. I'll move. Deborah?
I'll second.
All in favour? Okay. Okay. So we now need to wait till the